While The Twilight Zone remains a cornerstone of sci-fi television, few fans today remember the eerie brilliance of the Ray Bradbury Theater. Premiering in 1985, this anthology series adapted the imaginative and often unsettling works of legendary author Ray Bradbury. Though it lacked the instant name recognition of Rod Serling's classic, the Ray Bradbury Theater delivered cerebral, genre-blending stories with just as much emotional punch and speculative depth, making it essential viewing for Twilight Zone enthusiasts even decades later. Bradbury's vision comes to life on television. Unlike many adaptations of literary works, the Ray Bradbury Theater put the author front and center. Each episode began with Bradbury himself giving viewers a glimpse into his creative world, inviting them into his cluttered writing room and explaining where his stories were born. From newspaper clippings and magazines to plastic dinosaurs and Halloween masks, Bradbury's Magician's Toy Shop served as a fitting portal into his unique mind. What followed was a weekly exploration of fear, wonder, and the human condition, based on his acclaimed short fiction. While The Twilight Zone offered morality plays with a twist, Bradbury Theater leaned more heavily on lyrical storytelling, childlike wonder, and introspective terror. Classic tales with timeless themes. Many of the show's most memorable episodes are faithful adaptations of Bradbury's best-known stories. In The Toynbee Convector, a scientist fakes time travel to inspire humanity to save the planet, only for the lie to become reality. Boys. Raise giant mushrooms in your cellar shows paranoia blooming in a father convinced his son's comic book spores are alien invaders. The Veldt offers a haunting warning about over-reliance on technology as two children become dangerously attached to a VR nursery. There Was an Old Woman tells of a ghostly elderly woman who refuses to accept death as her fate. These stories weren't just scary, they were rich in social critique, imagination, and humanity. In that way, Bradbury didn't just echo The Twilight Zone, he built a show that stood shoulder to shoulder with it. Big names, small screen. Though its production was often modest, most notably evident in the infamous rubber dinosaur of A Sound of Thunder, the series attracted major acting talent. Stars like William Shatner, Jeff Goldblum, Donald Pleasance, Shelley Duvall, Drew Barrymore, and Peter O'Toole all graced the show, lending gravity and charm to Bradbury's tales. Each performance added another layer to the series' surreal, often poetic tone. With no need for jump scares or gore, the Ray Bradbury Theater relied on actors to convey the emotional horror and beauty of Bradbury's prose. The true successor to The Twilight Zone? Although Bradbury contributed one original story to The Twilight Zone, the touching, I Sing the Body Electric, his relationship with Serling's series was strained. He felt his complex, dreamlike stories were a poor fit for the show's rigid format and accused it of borrowing elements from his work. With the Ray Bradbury Theater, he finally got to present his work his way, without compromise. Rather than copying Serling's formula, Bradbury focused on emotion over spectacle. There were no ironic punchlines or twist endings, just honest, imaginative storytelling with consequences rooted in character. It's this sincerity that gives the show its lasting power. Still relevant after 40 years. Despite being a product of the 80s and 90s, the Ray Bradbury Theater remains eerily relevant. Episodes like The Murderer, about a man who lashes out against constant digital noise, feel more timely now than ever. In an age of VR, AI, and tech addiction, Bradbury's warnings are no longer speculative, they're real. Other episodes like Usher 2, which tackles censorship through a sci-fi lens, feel especially urgent in today's cultural climate. Much like The Twilight Zone, the series understood that science fiction is most powerful when it reflects real anxieties, real questions, and real hearts. A cult classic worth rediscovering. Though it never reached the mainstream success of its peers, the Ray Bradbury Theater remains one of the most sincere and faithful sci-fi horror anthologies ever created. It doesn't rely on flashy twists or gimmicks. Instead, it celebrates the quiet, chilling, and curious parts of the human experience, just as Bradbury did in his writing. In a television landscape full of Twilight Zone imitators and anthology reboots, the Ray Bradbury Theater stands as something uniquely personal. It is a window into the imagination of one of the 20th century's greatest writers, and for that alone, it's a must-watch 40 years later. If you've ever wondered what the Twilight Zone would look like through the eyes of a dreamer instead of a cynic, look no further. Bradbury built his own zone, and it's just waiting to be rediscovered.